It's been a little while since I've done one of these, and I decided I want to do a 2-for-1 sort of thing. There'll be some video that will be shot from a little bit different perspective in a little bit, but I wanted to show off or kind of review a thing that I've got here. First time I'm using it. We have a Five Below, and they did not sponsor this video, but they had a light up photo studio box. So it's basically a light box for photographing or videoing little things. I'm going to try it with a thing I found as a value recently, the G.I. Joe Classified Series Scarlett, and so I'm going to try light boxing her once we get going. But let's just take a look at the overalls here. So you are given a USB cord to connect it to some USB power source. You are given 2 backdrops, so if you're doing dark item, you have a white backdrop to fill in the cracks so it doesn't look so bad. Of course, you'll probably have to lay these things out because they seem to be made out of like a fun foam if you don't want the creases showing. And then you're given a black piece, so if you're doing something that's a lighter object, so that it stands out against the background. So then this little origami project is basically the rest of it, and you kind of unfold it, and then so it has the row of lights. They're basically just kind of strip lights that the USB connects into. Then you have these panels, okay, of which you've got one with the snap part of it. I don't know if you can see that real well, but then you've got the button that snaps over it. So the goal would be to get this hole in between, sandwiched between the other two. So here's your outer button, here's the one with the hole, and then you will follow up with the one that snaps. Do it kind of one side at a time, and there you go. You got the box. Okay, now you might want to, because this is kind of flimsy vinyl plastic like they would use to make some of those heavier duty folders, paper folders. So you might want to shape it a little bit to give yourself a little bit more space inside the box. It's supposed to be about a 1 foot cube, and those sides, if they're curving in, can take a lot of that away. If you also notice, there are a couple of little spots back here on the back that are just little cutout slivers. That's what your foam actually ends up hanging on. So then you can take, I'll do the black one so that you can see the contrast and how it ends up looking inside the box. Now remember, I don't have the lights on for this one yet, so it's not going to be quite everything it could be. But there you have it. You would have a nice little platform for videoing stuff. Okay? I'll show the white one, but I don't think it's going to make a big difference. So there's black. There's the box as it is without. And then you can put the white in there, and then the white. See, it just gives you a backdrop against which to photograph. So that's the light box. Okay, let's talk for a second about Scarlett over here, and then we're going to see how she looks in the white box, the light box. So I got this at Barnes & Noble, no, Books A Million, and they were kind of just in clearance. So what's normally about a $20, $25 figure, I was able to pick up for about $7 to $10. So not a bad deal, about 50% off or a little more. So I'm gonna unbox from the bottom so as to not mess up the top and its plastic sort of windows there. So we take out that. Of course, this is number 5 in the series, but from what I've seen online, you have to be careful because if you're really doing like collector stuff, they did reissue these and they're a little bit different. I think I may have ended up with a reissued one, and the paper always falls out on me when I try to undo these. See my Major Blood video for that one. Okay, so we get her out of the box. We got the nice kind of updated G.I. Joe star logo in the background behind her. Nice side art of Scarlett in action there. And then you have some of her skill sets kind of listed. They have like surveillance, the crossbow, the martial arts, and then one with it's very interesting they did this. They took and put a no kind of universal sign over a file folder, so because Scarlett was typically a counterintelligence officer, so there you have it. Okay, and that part can be actually removed if you were fully just taking this apart, and can make a nice little backdrop for her, so you see that can be taken out. Okay, so looking at Scarlett, she has numerous places for knives, 1, 2, 3 of them to be exact, and then she has her ever so popular crossbow. So let's see about easing her out of the packaging. Okay, there's one leg free. Okay, the legs are free. Now she can just get her shoulders and armor. Ooh. Oh, her backpack, her arrows kind of hang in there. Okay, so if you're doing it, they did cut a slot out in the plastic, and the arrows on, or I'm sorry, the bolts for her crossbow were actually down in the notch there. So be careful with that because you can bend those up on removing her. Okay, so as it stands, she has her classic little 3 shuriken on her arm, and she's got her same color scheme, but they kind of modernize or update her battle armor and such. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. So we've got, okay, they put tape over the knives so that they wouldn't fall out. And I think it's very interesting. 2 of the earliest folks that show up in one of the first episodes of G.I. Joe are the actual first couple of classified series figures that I ended up getting for myself. I got some for my sons. You know, you got to get Snake Eyes. You got to get that sort of stuff. My son really likes Cobra Commander, so I had to get that one. But the first ones that I just bought for me were Major Blood, who pulls a trickaroo in the first episode of the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero animated series from way back in the 80s. Alright, let's see if we can get this crossbow in hand. And I love the detail. Of course, now anyone in shooting sports would tell you, you know, be careful, watch your trigger, putting your finger on the trigger early. But they make all of these hands sculpted to where she can actually put her finger on the trigger there. So that's a good aspect. All right, let's see what knives go where. All right, there's one to go in her over arms and shoulder. So she has that one. Let's see, where else could a knife go within this setup? Okay, I think I see a slot. Nope. She could put one in hand, but where would be her other hands? Are they both in the back? Oh, that's what they did. Okay, that's a little different. So the other slots are actually in the backpack for putting her other two blades. Okay, so she's got the blades, she's got hers right there across commando style there, and she's ready to roll. So the only other thing I'll do is show you a little bit of the light box, but I'm going to take a moment to set it up, and then you'll be able to see how that looks and see how we can check out that quality. Okay, and just for those curious, let's see if she will stand. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that to work because she's kind of standing 1 foot points downward a little bit. So anyway, that would be kind of how she would stand. Oh, and she's not standing anymore on the regular. So that's awesome. Okay, there we go. All right, and she fell. Yeah. All right, so let's see what the light box does. Okay, so this is Scarlett from the frontal view. You can see the light picks up the details very nicely. Let me try to get some of that color focused in there. But a lot of good detail on the face, the crossbow, the knife. Let me see if I can get that crossbow a little bit better visible. There we go. And she's gonna fall over on me now. Okay, she didn't. Okay, so yeah, a lot of detail in these. Really appreciate that. But you can see the color scheme is generally the same. They just kind of modernized the armor and made it look a little bit better in that regard. So let's try other views here. So here's from the back and side so that you can see the, and whoops, you have to be careful because you can still see the cracks in the edges of the light box if you're not really careful with it. But for the most part, it does very well. Very good for bringing out the color and the detail with this. Come on now. I wanted to show the light box, not show my ineptitude at actually posing a figure. Need one of my friends who does a lot more of this type of stuff. Anyway, I'll hold her in place so that you can see all the engraving and style on the shuriken and the shoulder armor and even the blade, and then even a lot of detail on the crossbow bolts and back pockets, and just a well designed figure. Whoops. Oh, I was able to knock off part of the crossbow there. That was a lot of fun. Let's see if we can put that back on real quick. Okay, that's how it goes. There we go. Okay, back in action. So that's Scarlett Classified Series figure. And the Bytech, basically the Five Below brand. You know, not bad for about a $5-7 light box. I mean, you know, it's not super amazing, but for small scale stuff like this, it does quite well. So if you were going to try to sell things or showcase some work you've done painting, it might give you some good ways to either get some still photos or, you know, maybe even some video if you're better at posing things and moving them around than I am. But anyway, so all of those blades are removable. The knife, and then the one that's in her hand I actually put there in the backpack there, because there's a couple of slots for the knives to go in, but she has one in her hand right there. So there you go, Scarlett Classified Series G.I. Joe and the light up photo studio box. Didn't read the box, but for the studio box it said it's easy setup and assembly, foldable and portable. Generally, yeah, I'd agree. 3-foot USB cable, so wherever you're setting up to do your video, make sure you're close by in that regard. And then it eliminates sort of shadows and reflections and black and white backdrops. So anyway, good little handy tool to have there. And Scarlett's taking a break, so I'm going to check out too.